Importance of story. North American indigenous peoples have gone through a very dark history in terms of genocide, colonization, and a lot of wrongs that were written by their oppressors. So how did they survive? Well, they relied upon principles that are still have contemporary application today, as you will notice with this project, and it also helps contribute to positive change within oneself and change in others. So our ancestors were very resilient peoples. We are very resilient people today. They relied upon the natural world and the environment as its greatest teacher, because they had an understanding that the world had evolved over millions of years and was operating in a state of perfection. So that means all they had to do was watch and observe and incorporate those teachings. Those teachings were based on cooperation and based on the spiritual and collective well-being, and they put that ahead of the individual needs and materialism. So by observing nature, they created unique knowledge systems based off the ebbs and flows of nature. So these values are shared through oral history today, through the legends and storytelling that is passed on from generation to generation through migration and intermarriage, from elders to youth, and continuing that cycle so that the youth will eventually share to their young. So the bead, Manado Manansug, this teaching is based on respect, a traditional grandfather teaching. The word Manado, if you break down the word into its root words, Manado means creator or spirit. Manans is small, and ag on the end makes it plural, so it's small creator, or small creator, small spirits. So whenever a bead touches the ground or goes anywhere, it is up to the child to respect the spirit of that bead and to take that bead and pick it up. This way you're instilling some moral values into that child, and it's funny because you see them all on the floor crawling around trying to pick up these beads because they realize the significance of the spiritual domain. So the language is the foundation of our culture. It is the tool in which we communicate, and the language is our lifeline. It's symbiotic with our traditional teachings. If we don't have the language, then we cannot properly live by our ancestral origins, because we really need to grasp the importance of the language and how it ties to the natural world, how we see the world and how we act upon it. It's about respecting all of life and creation, finding your path within that realm, or within that domain, within those boundaries, and be in service to others so that we can end suffering. The language is what ties us to our ancestors. It's like a spiral, our DNA. Everything traces back. So these words, this language is what they spoke. And they did not go through all that suffering and loss for us to hand it up and not try to bring anything back. It's super important that we do this now, because we're at a crossroads. If we don't do it now, then it'll go extinct, and we won't be able to see the world through those eyes.